Hi you guys, I'm excited to make this training video about trapped emotions and specifically heart walls. And I was just reading in my processing journal, this is it right here, from about a year ago. And I made this entry where I was talking to Amber Eggett, who's in this group, about all the heart walls that I was trying to process through, and she was just trying to help to teach me what I could do. And she just stopped for a second and she was like, okay, so Allison, heart walls are super important, and I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be like focusing on this and trying to get through this, but really it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, heart walls are just one thing that we can do, and there are so many things that we can do through energy healing to help us. And I was just blown away because the only book that I had read so far was The Emotion Code, and I just thought that heart walls are everything. Like, once I'm finished with my heart walls, I'll be done, right? And so it was such a good conversation to have. Just really eye-opening one. So anyway, trapped emotions are when we have an experience and we can't process what happened at the time, and it's a negative, we feel a negative emotion and it gets trapped somewhere in our body. And heart walls are an extension of that, in that the event is so traumatic to us that our subconscious says, whoa, we do not want to feel that again. So they build, our subconscious builds a wall around our heart to protect us from having to feel that again. And ironically, the only material that's available at the time is the energy that's available at the time to build the wall with is the emotions that we're feeling at that time. And so you get a heart wall to try and like protect you, but actually it's made of abandonment, or it's made of fear, or it's made of anxiety or crying or anger or lust or whatever it is. And so then that becomes an automatic response for you. That heart wall is like a filter through which all of your feelings go, and all other feelings like come to you. And so when people try to send you love, you don't feel it because it has to pass through 17 barriers. Or when you try and send out love, it starts out as like this beautiful butterfly, and by the time it reaches them, it's like this weird bat. And they're like, what is that? Not hanging out with her. So sorry if that's kind of weird, but that's just the way that I heard it from Dr. Nelson in one of his training videos, actually. So I kept working on my heart walls, even though Amber said, and she's totally right, that there's so many things. I have like just a really driven energy. So once I start something, then I have to finish it. So I kept working on my heart walls, and I had a lot. And so when I finished, to like solidify my accomplishment, and just like I needed some closure about the whole experience, and I wanted to like set the tone for the rest of my life moving forward. And so I asked my sister Melissa, who's also in this group, to paint a picture of my heart with all the things that I have written on my heart now. Because when we release, I think I've done some of this, I've done this with some of you in your sessions already. When we release something negative, we always replace it with a positive, or there will just be a void in your energy, and then more negative things will just pile in. So we always have to fill it with positive things. And so I chose all of these words. I hope you can see this. This is the heart that Melissa made for me, and this hero one in the very middle is, I had a heart wall about being a victim. It was a whole belief system, actually, and we'll talk about belief systems, I think, tomorrow. But yeah, so each of these words is so meaningful and precious to me. And I have this in my room where I can see it every day to remind me of who I am or who I can be instead of those negative things. And I just wanted to share one experience with you. It was almost exactly a year ago today, actually. And I was working through a heart wall and I found I had tested through muscle testing that I had a heart wall of unimportant. And I was thinking back through my experiences because I knew I had tested like about what time in my timeline it was and what this heart wall was made of and all these different things. And I found out that it was this experience, and I felt that I should share it with you just so you can kind of see what the process is like. That I was probably 8 years old, like 7 or 8, and I was roller skating out of my front yard with my sisters and all of us kids. We were off track and we were just playing out in the front yard. And I picked up one of my twin brothers, who was just a toddler at the time. He was still wearing diapers, so I don't know, maybe he was like 18 months old, maybe 2. And I was roller skating with him, and I tripped and fell, and I was able to like roll, and he didn't hit the ground. I hit the ground and he fell on top of me. And my dad saw what had happened. And I was really hurt. Like my elbow was hurting, my hip was hurting, and he was crying and I was crying. And it was just like this really traumatic experience. My dad came up and he was so mad. And not, like, I'm not mad at him. Like as a parent, I totally understand his reaction. But he was so mad. He picked up my brother and he was like, "Why did you do that? You could have really hurt him, blah, 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 blah." And he was just yelling at me and really mad, and he got kind of physical about it. And so in that moment, I learned I'm not important. My pain is not important. My body is not important. Only other people are important. The people that I'm supposed to take care of are what's important. And so I could have learned in that moment, be more careful. Or I could have learned in that moment, think before you act. Or I could have learned, my dad loves his children immensely or something. I could have learned anything. But I decided to learn, I'm not important. Only other people's needs are important. And so for the rest of my life, I felt subconsciously I made choices and attracted things into my life to prove to myself that I was not important. For example, I couldn't eat until all of my kids had their food and were eating. I couldn't take a shower when they were awake because my body and my needs are not important. Their needs are more important than my needs. And so I had to, like subconsciously, I had to take care of their needs before my needs, or else I would get in trouble and get yelled at and get hurt. Is this making sense? Like, again, I'm not blaming my dad. I have thought of that experience maybe 2 times in my life since it happened. Like it was super traumatic at the time, but I didn't realize what I had learned at that time. And so, but it affected the rest of my life, all of these choices. And so now I can have healthy boundaries and say, you know what, actually, I get to sit down and eat my food. Now that I've sat down and I've started eating, you get to get your own drink or you get to get your own whatever. Whereas before I wouldn't have. I would have been like, okay, this is my responsibility. I have to do it. I have to put myself aside and take care of them. And so I hope that this is helpful to some of you. I hope that you can think back, even if you don't know how to muscle test, that you can think back through your life and find those times where you learned something that you weren't supposed to learn, that's a temporal thing, and you wrote it on your heart. and it's still affecting your choices and your subconscious choices today. And I hope that just like with heart walls, also with trapped emotions, when you feel pain places in your body, yes, there can be physical causes, but I am testifying to you right now that there are energetic and emotional causes to the physical issues that you have in your body, and those are trapped emotions, just like running a negative program in the background and hurting your body. So take the time and make the effort that's needed to release those so that you can be free. It's amazing the work that I've been able to do just on my own and with the help of other people. But I mean, not with drugs or seeing a doctor or anything like that. So I hope this video about heart walls and trapped emotions is helpful. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying this Heart Week as much as I am. I'll talk to you later. Bye.